Good evening, folks, and welcome to the Sunday Slapdash here on the Free Enterprise channel. I am Hupfin here in the commentary booth with Deathlike, as we have Deathlike, how about you explain the flag set that we have this evening? Would you mind doing that?
Yeah, it's great to be here. The flag set, it's whatever it decided to roll. That means the first time I've seen the objectives, and the flags are a mystery to everyone. That's the great part.
Yep, it is a mystery. It's a true, literally, it's a mystery seed. We don't know here in the booth. Our trackers, Xenocat, our Researcher Gambit, they don't know. Our runners, Tybalt, Saradin, everyone else running off stream, they don't know. None of us know. We do know our objectives, but that's it. And this is, that's 2 Town of Monsters objectives that I'm seeing in that list. That sure is a list.
Yeah, we can hope for no K-summon, but it could happen. It could be either. It doesn't make a difference. Those objectives, we don't even know if we have to do all of them, so for the runner's sake, they have to do them all, because it's the list. You've got to do it. It's like a shopping list. You got to check them all off.
Well, the fascinating thing is, though, Deathlike, if we don't have to do them all, then we don't have to do them all, because it does say complete objectives to win the game. There will be no Zeromus fight on this stream today.
Even all that will shave off some time, so we don't have to worry about setting up for Z. But that also means the mystery of how are we going to get to do all of these things. So with the Giant of Babel requirement, we will definitely darkness. So that is, and we'll still need the pass, because that is, even though we're not doing Z, that is still a requirement. So, and also we have a boss hunt on top of everything. So we might have to. It could be a really, really long rabbit hole we might have to go through to find Baigen.
Yeah, this could be as simple as a snake hunt, or it could be borderline 17 out of 17, depending on how these key items decide to fall and how difficult those Town of Monsters fights ends up being. There's definitely a lot of things that could be at either the Ashra spot or the Leviathan spot that are really nasty.
Yeah, the King of Monsters spot, if something punchy like an antlion, there will be some things said that we can't repeat here.
Mm-hmm. Oh, we were saying a few of them before stream as we were discussing the information that we had getting started, and it looks like we are about to get started in just a moment. We'll get to see who this Rosa gets to be paired with.
Let's hope for a porn, because porn.
Yes, we have kicked things off. It is Rosa and Kane as the dolls bring us the Magma Key. So that is fast access to 2 of our objectives.
Yeah, so we're probably going to do some more checks, or underground checks, a little bit early, just because we get the free additional key item from Fae March. And we can get to peek at King and Queen Eblet spots to kind of prepare ourselves to do battle.
Yep. Now our restreamer tracker having a little pondering in chat of trying to suss out what the seed is actually going to be, and if we have vanilla characters but a forced Rosa start, that would result in the situation we have. Obviously, key items are definitely shuffled. Saradin is bopping around trying to determine encounter situation. It looks like encounters are staying on.
Yeah, I think we want to have an idea of what the flags are. There are some things that there's a dupe flag, and
dupe glitch is very much on. Yes, so that's free money.
Unless they're sold for 0, we'll have to find out right on.
Oh, they are very much not sold for 0. But that's good information to have, because we did quickly see our characters have weapons, but nothing else. So see, Neki was turned on.
Yeah. And there's a forum in the shop.
Yeah.
Well, in the inn rather, but yeah. So that looks like we'll do a quick mist cave check.
Finding
too long.
the football gauntlet. So that's a great thing to find because you don't have to touch it.
It's the all gauntlet, but it's still like something we don't have to take a look at all. Fortunate for the runners, terrible for us because I want more gauntlet in my life. Like, at better spots like Wyvern spot or Ogo spot.
Yeah, it's so good to have a gauntlet on the moon. It's just good. Tybalt showing us some of the early shops. Not very high tier stuff. Definitely not a shuffle, but it's also just not coming through in the clutch. Saradin checking for the free key item, and no dice there today.
Yeah, normally when we're trying to get the free key item, there is an auto, like kind of in vanilla, there's an automatic sequence, but since we're not triggering it, we don't even have to go talk to him. It doesn't happen.
Yeah, and the shops in general have been pretty light on availability. There's just not much stuff there. Does kind of imply the shops do not offer any J items, or not really much good stuff at all. So that's going to be a little tricky to deal with.
Yeah, J items typically there's just compared to the original game the original game we've all played before, or at least most of us have. There are no J. They're just a bunch of J items. So if you use when there's a J item populated, there's just a bunch of them to be available. At least not like a ton, but like just so many that you would just encounter the inventory boss and be annoyed at it.
So yeah, we do see now there's free characters as Tybalt has gone to the Watery Pass, picked up another cane. We don't know if dupes are allowed, so we don't know if he actually has 3 members in his party, but he has encountered 3 characters, so he's got that going for him. Yeah,
so usually, when you find a character, Mysidia is a great check because you get 2 characters, and that check will also remove the barrier to entering the Tower of Wishes. So we're not even sure if Seepai is there, so we might have to check that out if that is even on the table.
Yeah, but dupes are allowed, as there are two dragoons in Tybalt's party, and possibly adding to that is an old sage.
Hey, it's our favorite pair. The pair for Mount Ordeals, perfect pair. How quaint. They decided to be generous. So.
But one must go. We have a max party size of 4.
Did Rosa go? Is that what?
No, I saw. I saw Tella being sent away. I think, given Tybalt's Navy scheme, I would be personally upset if Rosa left. But
I would just eat a cane. I know that I have some love for cane. I don't think I would need 2 of them. But we'll see how that fares out, because Tella is great for any sort of late game grind when we need it. So maybe we'll keep him reserve. Maybe we'll come back to him, assuming we are able to. I don't think we've even checked to see if they're even if we can get them back. But I think we're limited to a party of 4 based on that information. So no slingshot, since that requires 5 characters to be able to work. So even if that flag was off.
Yeah, my immediate instinct watching Tybalt's kind of setup as Saradin is down here, checking out more shops in the underworld. I have to imagine his plan is, knowing that it's no Zeromus fight, just get all the physical power you can and hope to just kind of overwhelm on characters that really grow from gear. The problem is we don't know if that gear will ever be available. We have several flags that will constrain what's in shops, what's in treasure chests, and you might be fishing for an X-Cal or a crystal sword that doesn't exist in the seed, and that's a bit of a trouble.
Yeah, so it depends on a lot of how the flags roll. I mean, I don't even. I'm sure we'll be able to roll limiting the item level of what we are able to get as well. I think so. I'm not too sure. I think that will be a factor. I mean, see elixir. I'm not sure what tier it is. It should be a fairly high tier. Maybe not top tier because elixir's an elixir. But you've seen more valuable things than just an elixir.
Yeah, but with the duplicate on, that's easily a stack of 99 elixirs, and that is more healing than you're going to need for most seeds. So that is a nice thing to have in your pocket. Saradin is down in the Feymarch in the Town of Monsters. We found the freebie was just one of those elixirs, and we find we have Dark Imps and Leviathan as our king and queen respectively.
So from Dark Imps, there's 3 of them, so they'll punch pretty hard. Given Leviathan spot punches hard, as the game developers who were trying to balance the game didn't think to have to rebalance those because hey, they don't punch, so why bother?
Yeah, who's gonna mess around with this stuff by making a randomizer 20 plus years later?
Yeah, and on the Leviathan and Azure spot, so that means the most that makes the Ice 2 that he uses pretty threatening, and I don't think we have any access to Star Veil, so that might be could be a difficult proposition. Unless you have like a Protect Ring to reduce the overall damage, it's gonna hurt. And that spot it's not quite Ovo level spell power, but it's pretty high.
Yeah, that is great information gathering, and that is great. I'm going to come back later. That is not something you're taking a swing at first go. Tibble, no, is just trying to figure out the trap chest here in the path. Did find it, so we'll be able to loot the remainder with impunity. Did see a number of open chests kind of along the way, so we are dealing with some level of sparse, but not horrifically so.
It would be worse if there were a dark matter objective, because then a significant portion, a reasonable portion, would be taken away in form of dark matter, which does nothing for you, but outside of completing the objective. Mm-hmm. So, without that objective, it's pretty safe.
I've definitely run Lit 3 seeds, the highest kind of difficulty that the randomized bot will provide, and it's basically there is no treasure except dark matter, and that's fun. That's fun and interesting, and it hurts. There's a reason most people don't do that.
Yeah, then that makes every spellcaster more important. The equipment makes your berserkers more important, whereas when you don't have it, the spellcasters have a lot more value. So depending on how the characters roll, you can decide on your party to reflect what the nature of the seed has provided for you.
It looks like Saradin is done with his kind of initial looting and shopping and setup kind of stuff. It's time to go tackling some bosses. Let's head over to Mount Hobbs. We get a boss fight out of the way and a character check. Because we are not running on the beta flag, so there's no such thing as no earned. If you can earn a character, there will be a character to earn. I didn't realize the whole pig thing was all of that. Mm. It's like, why is there pigs in these spots? Oh, okay. Oh, that clears out quite a bit. Since we're not dealing with it, it's not a big deal. But yeah, that's a thing to keep in mind. And once those beta flags become official, so for now, let's just see who's at the hotspot. Oh, it's another Rosa. Who doesn't want another Rosa? And the wall.
everyone's favorite kind of a demon thing that kind of climbs closer to you.
It's a strong premise for an enemy. It's just a wall. You know, it's nice every now and then to have those inanimate enemies that are just an ordinary thing, but made threatening and deadly. There are walls I'm surrounded by walls right now, as it happens, being indoors.
I'm starting to wonder what the dimensions of this wall is. I know in the visuals, like, yeah, you can see the wall.
It's a two-dimensional game, so I guess it has 2 dimensions.
But there's a third dimension, right? There's a I don't know. And then on this location, like, where does the wall end? Where does it begin? It just.
Oh, now we're getting philosophical.
Well,
the philosophy of walls on mountains. That's what you get from the Sunday Slapdash.
Well, we're trying to break down the fourth wall, but it's kind of it can be kind of difficult some of the time.
That's just too many walls.
And there's also a spell.
Zeratin is handling the one in front of him relatively well. One Rosa is down on the ground, but has a huge stack of Cure 3s, so can handle all of these punches, and it's not coming in too fast.
Yeah, but hopefully we get rid of it before it reaches the final phase, where it just, like, which walls do, like in Baron, but didn't successfully do, is just crush you. So, which is instant death for one character, and there it goes.
Yep, a couple of levels on that Kain and that Rosa. See the fade out indicating we do not have permadeath on. If we did, the character name would kind of briefly disappear during the fade out. So we're good on that front. But as you mentioned earlier, Deathlike, we have a max party size 4. Can't take advantage of that to slingshotting.
I think we have to take a look at some point, maybe not now because the bosses are not too fast, but whether this is C Hero as the original Rosa lived, and the one who took a nap was not the original hero, so she doesn't count. Might have to take a look at that, and maybe and know in Tybalt's case where he has the Cecil, whether vanilla agility is on too, which is another thing to consider.
Yeah, our tracker pointing out though, and this is something that I forget constantly. If you have C Hero on, you have no dupes of that specific character. As much as possible, I think it is even enforced in the shuffling. So we would not have seen a second Rosa. I will dare to say at all. By the way, the Elements fight happened. Cure 3 fixes that, I suppose.
You gotta heal the undead. You gotta give them free healing potions for undead, and you get the weapon that does nothing against undead, which is great.
Well, yeah, you've defeated the undead, and so that's the perfect drop to obtain. That's totally thematic. That's how video games work. I don't know how video games work. Dark Elf is invading Fabul, it turns out.
He decided to. He doesn't need tricks to help him. He just decided, hey, I don't need a cave to contain me. I can be anywhere.
Yeah, why bother sitting around at home? Go explore the world and take the trip and take the fight to Fabul, I guess. He's on vacation. The Dark Elf is on vacation. CPU is in the waterfall. That feels like a safety hazard.
I don't know. They're telling me technology is becoming more waterproof. I don't know what CPU's like, but today it likes to be under lots of water.
And you have yet another Kain over at Damsian. We've only seen 3 distinct characters. I didn't check the YAML. I don't know what the limitations are. I don't know if distinct 4. Yes, we had one of the twins in the inn. That's still not a lot of characters.
it's starting to approach oops all canes. So I don't know. Do you like to be betrayed or betrayed again and again and again?
I don't like that someone would be asking me that question. That feels leading. It feels like a leading question. And no, actually, Chad is correcting me. There was 5. We also saw Tella, but that's Tella.
There's still plenty of spots as free characters are all over the place. We haven't even tracked Mount Ordeals yet to find the free character there. So that will probably be next sooner rather than later. Especially with the Dark Knight Cecil that is available. So I think that will definitely be a trick, especially to get Cecil and Tella online.
Yeah, it looks like visiting Fabul and taking care of both the defense and the Sheila 1 check gets you a pink tail and a spoon. Completely useless as of right now.
Did we even check the spoon to see if our Spoony Bard can equip it, or is that it? Is that even?
I would not. I like Edward. I wouldn't bother, frankly. Ceridan seems to be going with the 2 healer comp, keeping both Rosas and ditching a cane for that Cecil.
Need to check on something, but it looks like the trick to Mount Ordeals is happening. Give me a moment. I'll be right back.
Yeah, because we have Sid on Mount Ordeals and Tybalt, content with his party. Gonna have honestly a pretty strong comp there, having a paladin, a healer, and 2 dragoons. That's all you need, unless you need to cast spells, in which case you have trouble. But just don't need to cast spells, and you're fine.
That was an interesting palette that just happened on Rosa.
Yeah, I've noticed Tybalt, I guess from the character shuffling. Oh, also here's Ogopogo. Hi, Ogopogo. Seems to get little quirky palettes to show up when walking onto a boss sprite. Just constantly rotating the characters, I guess, can do that.
Yeah, I think it's usually it's like a kind of the screen kind of goes dark a little, and then the boss appears. So yeah, that effect can produce something. It can produce these kinds of things. So I'm not entirely surprised. At least Ogo is in a friendly spot, since in other spots we would be a little bit more concerned.
Yeah, and we got solid enough physical damage to handle it. Plenty of Cure 2s and Cure 3s. Again, that dupe glitch is just going to carry the seed on that front easily.
Yeah, when you can buy anything, although it seems like the only things worth buying are just elixirs, I guess, or Cure 3s, or whatever. Then, better healthy than dead.
Yeah, yes, I will agree with that sentiment wholeheartedly.
I'm always amused when Elf does Whisper. It's like, the only person that is most concerned about it is like a Tella. When in vanilla, it's like, but pigs can fly, so it doesn't matter.
Pigs can also throw axes, so that's very handy.
Yeah, being a pig just really restricts a number of skills, but definitely spells. Spells are just are off the table. Enemy skills are also off the table, and we see our lovely D-Lunars. Yeah, so and we have Cure 3s, so we might as well use them to full effect.
Yeah, this is actually a pretty simple fight with this glitch. The glitch being the dupe glitch that just gets us all the money and therefore lets us buy anything, so we don't attack them. We just heal them to death, because, that's what undead, that's what they do.
Yeah, though I don't think we can throw elixirs, as elixirs will just do their thing, which is do full healing. And undead doesn't matter. It heals them to full maximum HP and MP. So elixirs will not kill monsters. Let's put it back.
They fixed that in later games. Oh hey, we got the crystal. We can go fight Zerobus. Smile.
I know. It's the moment where, wait, we don't need Z? No Z flags? Oh well. It's fine. But,
I mean, look, folks in chat can put the Z flags in if they want. It just won't mean anything. But, no, I'm not stopping you.
I think maybe they want it. If they do want to put them up, maybe they just want to take a nap, Sleep through the Z fight. That's what we all would like to do, right? Sleep through the Z fight.
I guess you can argue that's what's going to happen on this stream today.
Yeah. So Bahamut is our challenge today. So there's definitely not C hero. If there was C hero, the hero would have to be solo fighting the boss at this spot. So that's one thing to remember about C hero. Mm-hmm. I think the shops are due to not having no J items. Look really they look really disappointing. I think.
Yeah.
I think maybe we. I'm not sure we have checked enough of one of the gated shops, like any of the underground shops that would those tiers of the shops, when gated, will provide a higher level item or equipment.
Yeah. No, well, Saradin did do a loop of the shops in the underworld and didn't find anything like spectacular. But when you run the randomizer like enough times, anything that's not max tier starts to feel not spectacular because you just find that stuff laying around. And an S shuffle, which this is not. This is actually like S Pro. We're guessing. An S shuffle feels like a massive disappointment, even though that's the stuff that you would get playing the game normally.
Yeah, that list isn't too shabby, at least from terms of vanilla. This series looks like all sorts of disappointment. At this point, if we get to Cave Evelyn, maybe there'll be something better.
Yeah, maybe.
We're just hoping for hope's sake there'd be something of value.
Although heading towards Evelyn might not be a terrible idea. Obviously, we can't go into the caves, we don't have the hook, but we can go to the castle where there are 3 trap chests. And at this point, we've done enough of the overworld and not gotten very good rewards. You have to start wondering, is K-Trap on? Do I have to go hit those things up for my progression?
Yeah, when that moment sets in when you don't get the key items, that's gonna start lingering. In I think after doing mod Ordeals, possibly collecting the key item in probably yeet form, since we have 2 roses available. It's like, well, not 2 roses, but like starting Rosa and the free Rosa on Mount Hobbs, I think. Yeah, that having there is no point to the form unless you desperately need exit availability, and we have a tele available in the seat, so that's not a value, not the same kind of value. Porm is very eatable this time around. Yeah, I think we might even have to, for the most cheeky and probably nuisance check would be Zot 1. Just get the Flame Dog chest. That might.
Honestly, though, with K-Trap on, like, we know there's no free key items, so D-Mist is in play. Zot 1 actually becomes less terrible because that is now 2 checks if K-Trap is on as well. Whereas if K-Trap is off and you're still just hunting for that cheeky D-Mist, that is frustration. It could very well happen that there's something important on the Flame Dog and a cheeky D-Mist, and at that point, you might as well.
I mean, for double dipping Zod, I think the double dipping Zod is a thing I know most runners would not like to do, but that might have to.
Oh yeah, it's terrible.
That might actually have to happen in the seat. So we're that's
hi Wyvern.
That's not terribly threatening, but scary. scary initially, then the nostalgia wears off, and it's like, have a nice day, Wyvern.
Yeah, we've replaced the Wyvern's blarg with a blaze. Let's see if our players notice. They kind of noticed, but it barely hurt.
And of course, the infamous squid that travels through anything and everything, because supposedly ethereal. Because
yeah,
no,
it's a ghost octopus, is what's happening here. And as you attack it, you just gradually disperse the illusion of octopus until it fades away forever. It's haunted, y'all.
The good thing about Octomam is just any damage you do on it will slow it down, but also I think as part of it we can reduce the attack power, or just, I think it's just a straight slowdown, which is it's good enough. It's also stacks with slow, if I'm not mistaken. But we don't really need, but since it's it slows down over time, it doesn't. Why bother? You just probably if it was on the moon, something you might at least consider doing it, especially if you were at low levels. But at this spot, this is not the most threatening spot, and we're not really worried about bosses too much doing a lot of damage. At least not yet.
Yeah, this honestly is a great boss to find here, both because of that slowdown aspect, and the karate spot is already a little slow by default, certainly compared to some other slots. So it just becomes, slower and slower. And even if it punches high, slowing the enemy down is a DPS improvement.
Yep. So in Tybalt's case, yes, eating Porm, the named character Possum, eating Possum.
Naturally. But yeah, that is another K-main check coming up with nothing. It would be nice if we had an edge. Murasame is a good sword to have, but increasing the odds of K-Trap, increasing the odds of K-Summon or K-Moon as well.
Well, K-Moon would be fun chaos, but for the runners, they want no part of that. So we'll see. I think K-Trap is definitely on the table given the key item situation. So we're gonna. So this is gonna be like a full clear going on.
Yeah. But Xenocat, our tracker, mentioning, we have that unlock the pass door objective. The pass is not a key item, technically. And part of that fact means the pass can also be in shops in some flag sets, or it could be in a chest. Our runners have not really been looting, and it is entirely possible that either one of them has walked right by the pass already and just never knew.
Yeah, that's what makes the pass kind of a nuisance check in this essentially a mystery flag set. It actually makes more sense to actually loot, since if we don't know what the state of the pass is, the best case could be a shop. The worst case is that it's going to be in one of the chests, and I think the default is there's multiple opportunities to get a pass. Sure.
Yes, I believe the default is that there are 3 chests that contain the pass, and I don't remember if it's 1 or 2 are ensured to be in the overworld, but beyond that, it could be anywhere. Xenocat, correcting, is 1 overworld, 2 underground.
Okay.
So, yeah.
So I think in the overworld, it makes sense to loot, since you're trying to get some decent equipment to do, essentially, in this case, fight the boss spots at objective 3 and 4, and wherever one happens to be. Could be on the moon in the worst case scenario. So for the purposes of looting, just to check things, we're not too concerned, and just checking all the chests in Zot is kind of a pain.
Especially the one that contains ogres that are very punchy. And our party does not have the most robust physical defense. Because again, we have been looking for gear, but we've been coming up kind of empty.
Yeah, Mad Ogres. Yeah, they're usually pretty they're definitely punchy, and I think the Skullders and Stalemen are much more dangerous, just due to the the curses, the curse on hit from the skulls and the hit on sleep by the Stalemen.
I have had a run where the Stalemen and skulls were my progression underground, and my party was 2 characters, neither of which could really handle that fight very well, and a Cid who didn't have much HP but could take a punch or two. Except that every single time, once I got the skeletons down, Staleman would punch Cid, put him to sleep, and then just one shot after another, every character would go down, and that was like 5 or 6 runs. That is a rude chest if you are not prepared for it.
So, if you saw some scrolling on Tybalt's screen, he equipped an Aegis shield on Cecil, which Mad Ogres are not just giants, but they're also mages, even though they cast no magic. But since they're mages, it will reduce the damage taken. So I think that reduces the attack power of the monster by half. So that's a pretty massive change in damage. Still I mean, Cecil's equipment is really good by any stretch, but it's not twice as much the normal damage he would normally be taking. So this is keeping him alive.
That Aegis shield on that Cecil, and then having Cecil cover, that is the only reason Tybalt's party is still standing the way it is right now. But that is smart strategy, and it gets him through the fight.
Yeah. This one thing about status ailments, which could also be used on your end, is that another new knife from Mad Ogres.
Of course.
It's the accuracy of the monster the accuracy of the attack does help. So in Sid's case, where he typically equips heavy armor, which usually gives him typically not always a shield. So let's say he doesn't have a shield and he has heavy equipment. Well, Sid's case, he has no evasion. So Sid would be a prime candidate to be taking a nap or cursed or both.
Yeah, there's a certain comedy in Sid starting off in most flags. That's not this one. We have Sineki on with the prisoner robes, the clothes that will actually prevent sleep. But the moment you put on anything halfway decent for him, that protection more or less gets inverted.
Yeah. So we definitely using pretty good knowledge of seeing all these undead and using Cure 3. Staleman shouldn't be too long. At least we're getting rid of the additional damage that would normally be there if the skulls weren't still upright.
I'm wondering, what's the rudest place that Baigen could be left? I mean, we have the entire moon.
Yep.
That's a pretty rude place to put him.
There's also obviously Ogospot is probably one of the nastier ones. I think if we're not digging too deep, maybe something like Thunder Baron, Baron in the Odin spot. That could be just as nasty. And we don't have access to Baron yet, so that's not even a consideration. Oh, a ninja rope where we still have no ninja yet.
Yeah, we've gotten a nice handful of edge gear, but no edge. And no key items from these trap chests either. That's the painful part.
We still have a lot to check, so we can. We got in the magma key early, so the key items can be placed on the underground just as equally as well. I mean, the worst case if they're all placed in would be the Sife's Cave, given what we have right now. So right now, it's just even if we're not coming up with the key items, we're getting the levels we need to fight more stronger bosses.
Yeah, you would just really be hoping for the information with this being a mystery seed. You want, even if it's the pink tail or the Luca key, like something that you don't need or don't feel that you need. If you get a key item from a trap chest, you have so much more information now, and that can really guide you in a race situation. So to not get that, you can't prove that negative, though. It could, like you said, that like could just roll poorly. There could still be something important in a trap chest somewhere.
The alternative case for what's happening here is that we have to find the starting key for the massive chain. Something like a Baron key, Earth key. I mean, Earth Crystal, Pan, like things like that, where we have to do an objective on that goes with it. Essentially anything that we're unlocking could unlock further chains. And for our runners, that is not ideal, but that also makes the seed linear in a sense that we're going to be funneled in one direction and in one direction.
Absolutely. Yeah, all the key items that we found so far are technically terminal. I mean, Magma Key does open up a bunch, but it doesn't lead directly to another I guess we could say it leads directly to the Fame Arch freebie. But beyond that, all been terminal. So a lot of opportunity for a chain with what's left. So
Xenocat's pointing out fading the Black Cat Lamia combination, which is that group is pretty. That can be pretty devastating with status attacks that they do. So Black Cats, their most lethal thing is if you don't kill them, if you deal any damage to them, they use this attack called Bluster, and basically it's like a 50-50 chance you get paralyzed or you die. And neither status is good, but death is more permanent paralysis.
Death is a very strong status effect, absolutely.
And the Lamia in the back does only reacts to physical damage, so it's just a fight command. And her counter is Charm, which, if given under really terrible circumstances, if you use it on, say, a bard with a spoon, Edward will do spoony things.
Yeah. And when you have a party like this, it's all physical attackers. That's pretty terrifying. Honestly, it's less terrifying when you have a bunch of casters. I find they tend to want to bonk in that situation more than use spells, but it's still risky. They can still use spells. Whereas physical fighters, they're just gonna swing, and that's what they're trained to do.
Well, the thing about Charm, and I think it's more devastating in this game compared to, say, like a different Final Fantasy, like Final Fantasy 5 or 6, where like the spells they select, you can I've seen it before because it's scary and devastating. You just see Radia, she has learned Meteor, and then proceeds to instant cast Meteor. Because Charm spells, it completely ignore any sort of delay that is notably associated, and Meteor is the longest spell, but instant cast Meteor under Charm. Yeah, that's an instant, and that's usually instant wipe.
No, I mean, if you're fighting Black Cat Lamia at a point where Rydia knows Meteor, you better be one-shotting them.
Yeah. Oh.
That's a mid-game kind of fight, and that's a Fu. At Dwarf Castle, hi Fu.
I would just immediately eat the king. Given our equipment situation, every mage is a very strong proposition. And Fu, fortunately, has is under vanilla, which in this particular randomizer, Fu starts at 500 HP and needs to fight 14 bosses before he remembers everything. He gets randomized spells to begin with.
Like Meteor, it turns out.
Yeah, of course, because that's a good time to cast Meteor while the plague is doing. Yeah, that'd be a great time. Just let's count how fast Fu can cast Meteor. That would be hilarious. But no, that's not gonna happen. We just want to smash it, and there it goes.
That is Tybalt through the Dwarf Castle. Saradin struggled a little bit with the Mad Ogres, taking a reset. Fortunately, not losing anything of value as we saw from Tybalt's run through. So, I mean, you lose a bit of XP, but you're not missing out on a key item.
I'm not concerned about the key item. It's probably from the treasure hunt or shopping. The Aegis shield that Tybalt got was much more valuable. Saradin not having it is probably just the difference, honestly.
Yeah, either not having it or not being able to apply it in the same way. Tybalt going and checking for the Warp Glitch, it is off. If you want that item in the Sealed Cave, you've got to dip it directly.
That's okay. That means more things to check.
Well, if you want to see what's in the Sealed Cave, here you go. Here's a Luca key.
Is this even randomized?
I mean, yes, it has been largely and predominantly randomized, and we just have one interesting case of vanilla. So yeah, I mean, we have a Dathis in the party, in Tybalt's party, don't we? Yes, we have one. That's allowed.
Yeah, because 2 Dathises would cause a break in the space-time continuum or something.
That's double Dragoon. That's just a lot of Dragoon.
More betrayal. The seed has betrayed you again. I think we're going to switch characters. This looks what it looks like. I think we're at least going to check to see. I don't think we've checked that actually.
We have not, but it is on. It is the C-Buy is off. Characters are available. Tybalt looks like picking up a Sid.
Interesting. That's a very interesting pickup. So Sid would be the tank, and also you want him to be anchor. I think may have to. I don't think we've checked to see if vanilla agility is on. So this might be the experiment that that we need to find out sooner rather than later, because not knowing whether we have vanilla agility will screw up our timing when boss fighting. And Sid is naturally slow, so we want to take advantage of that. So and being an anchor is not the worst thing. I mean, the worst case, because we'll see like a character on the floor staring at the floor, because you got to protect against floor monsters.
Look, if we wanted a floor tank, we already had Dragoons. We had someone who could do that. I dare say this probably feels a little more like taking Sid for the long haul, though. If you're just grabbing him for experimental purposes, you wouldn't be bothering to kit him out. And Tybalt having that stack of black belts, having those Dragoon gauntlets, no, this guy's, we're gonna put him to work.
I think, yeah. Well, at this point, it's gonna be the anchor and a supplementary fighter. Of course, in the end game, will just probably be potion tosser, which is not the worst job. You have a role. You're not taking naps. So that's
Sid is actually a really good chemist to have in the party. Being slow is a problem, but he's gonna survive so much. He can throw around those lives and those cure 3s.
Yeah, he's the character that is the quickest to getting to quad 9 in HP. Yang, unfortunately, while you would normally think he would, because he needs all the HP, he would grow, but for whatever reason, the game has decided that his HP cap is 6,000-ish, and it's a mystery to everyone, but whatever.
I believe, because I've looked this up ages ago, so I might be misremembering, but I think Sid is actually the only character who can hit a natural quad 9 HP. You have to get lucky rolls in a lot of later levels, but it is mathematically possible, and even Cecil can't do that. He gets pretty high up there, but he can't do that.
Yeah, Cecil is good for this, and I think given that we have a Fu, taking down Dark Imp could be trivialized, but since he's not in the middle slot, well, punishment happens.
Well, the thing, we also don't know if free bosses are on. I don't believe we've seen anything that would inform that. So this might not be possible at all.
Not free. Well, that means we have to grind. Because this spot is the 3 Dark Imps is like having a Baigen, if you really think about it. No, although Baigen has a bit more in his skill set, and there's his right hand is naturally in the back row, but it's effectively like a Baigen fight.
Yeah, three very punchy targets. The main difference, well, one main difference, the HP here is at least spread evenly.
He's gonna try it again. I think the realization will set in. It's when the charm is a really high accuracy spell and when charm fails, and it's a very underrated spell. Although in some spots, it's a very bad spell. But it's not in the sense like there are some monsters that have a special charm script which doesn't follow normal conventions. So, but anyways, it's a really high accuracy spell. So that should be the tip off that hey, we can't actually try to cheat our way. And so therefore, no free bosses. Like fighting Water Hag. We can't just do the 3 damaging hits, and he disappears. No. It's you gotta take down whatever HP is at that spot. So this is, I think Tybalt is probably not recognizing this quite yet. Oh, swag rocks. I think
this is looking like, ooh, you've got to get really lucky with this early setup. But yeah,
we don't have the armor for Cecil to tank any other. We would have we need a glass helm, and maybe an adamant. We're not even sure if adamants are available.
Yeah, that might not be around. But yeah, we need things to go just smoothly enough to get that blink off, and then his cover is free. For 2 hits and nothing else, but it's free. That's 2 hits.
What?
So yeah, Tybalt is committing to this bit.
Maybe he thinks that one of these 2 spots has the darkness crystal that'll get him on the moon.
Possibly, yeah.
So, but and usually I would think in this case, given that we know that the bosses we can't cheese these bosses, we have to probably do a grind, and I don't think we have sirens available since Jadams are not available, and we don't have the edge to even test to see if sirens are available. So I'm almost thinking we might want to try something else, like do another boss spot. Even the Leviathan at Azure spot is a lot more doable than this punchy spot with the Dark Imps.
Yeah, this is I'm gonna say this is a bit premature for Tybalt and his party. You've got things like you've got Keyless Tower. That is an option. Luca Cave, unfortunate, but it's an option. Even this Leviathan fight, let's at least give it a go and see what the situation looks like here.
Yeah, so the Ice 2 is the killer part. The Big Wave is only just a quarter of our HP, so this is manageable, but we're just going to assume that someone's going to immediately die on the Ice 2. That's at least manageable. So I think since Fu has Lightning 3, this shouldn't be too bad, as long as we keep track of all the dying characters, all the people that instantly.
As long as Fu stays up. Fu did not stay up, so that's a problem.
Yeah, having no Star Veils compounds the situation. So, do we know if the Fu has a wall yet? Because that would
I didn't see.
Because that would make life a lot easier if we even continue to go this route.
Yeah, but there's also, again, Xenocat, our tracker, mentioning we haven't ruled out K-Trap. We haven't ruled it in, but we haven't ruled it out. And there are 6 chests in the Sylph Cave. Some of them are a little bit rude, certainly, but they're there. One of them is completely free. You can possibly get there.
Yeah, Sylph Cave for the grind. Since we don't have a guaranteed grind available, that becomes a lot more attractive. and it's not out of the realm to think this. I mean, and you have Cure 3, so we can continue trying this route, but I think at some point we want to probably try doing a grind and pray for K-Trap to not be a reality. So it's the ice two, the dual ice 2s are just, oh well, there it is. That didn't hurt.
At this point, like if I were running this seed, I would be expecting K-Trap, and I would be leaning towards that, and I'll figure out a different way to grind. Again, we do not have to fight Zeromus on this seed. We don't have to prepare for that specifically. These fights down in the Fey March are obnoxious, and we do need to prepare for them, but that is a different kind of preparation.
Yeah.
So, maybe you're willing to sacrifice that grind opportunity for the sake of just getting somewhere, or at least attempting to get somewhere.
Yeah, sometimes progress in the form of checking other things are on or off, or just like availability is important information, and you can make a more clear kind of a determination of what you want to do next based off of that. So it's one of those. Do I want to keep keep trying until you get it? But usually I would reserve, for me, maybe personally, I would reserve for, that's the only choice, that's it. Then you have to, or otherwise you just try to, there's always other options. If there's other options, maybe sometimes it's the things you do and the things you don't do is what it determines how fast you complete the seed.
Well, it's like Tybalt has a decent cadence going on with this fight. And yeah, some slow cast is sensible here. Really, it's Fu that's doing all the work. We're seeing those lit 3s coming out for like 6-7k a pop. So everyone else is kind of chipping in little bits of damage, trying to make the fight go one round faster if possible. But yeah, lit 3 is the real show here.
Yeah, it's starting to become like a version of Fu and Friends. Even though we're not doing a Z fight, but that's essentially what this seed is slowly becoming too, since having the Fu.
That's what this pattern looks like. You're doing some casts, like if this were the Zeromus fight, that would be baiting out nukes to get the reflects. And then just Fu doing Fu things.
I know the spot is pretty fast. Are we sure vanilla agility is not on?
Honestly, I have no clue how to tell without a curse string. So
well, Sid is
I'd just be kind of flying at that point.
Well, we know Sea Hero's not on, and we know Sid is the slowest guy. Like this is like initial level Sid, and he has a dwarf axe initially. So it's just going. I mean, obviously the boss will have its turns go pretty quickly, but it's starting to make me wonder if vanilla agility, if vanilla agility is on, we would be a little bit faster, right? Because Cecil would have decent speed.
Like I said, agility is one of those spots in this game that you got to be a really strong player to really understand, and I am not quite at that level. Serenin, though, goes up, does the keyless tower check, and there is D-Mist at the Luge spot. This is going to be another bit of a slog. There's a lot of HP here, but should be a fair bit more manageable in comparison. Tybalt gets a ribbon for defeating Leviathan, but more importantly, that is objective number 3 off the board. We have to do at least 2 objectives, though.
Hey, first objective at almost the hour mark. That's progress.
Yep, we're getting somewhere, folks. We're getting somewhere.
I think this is one of the few spots. I know the Dr. Luge spot is kind of slow. It's one of those things maybe you want to think about, like trying to instead of normally where you want to slow down a boss, where this time is where you want to cast fast on a boss. So the miss sequence goes away quicker. Just
or again, depending on your comfort and your levels, maybe leave it alone and try to be tactical about healing up in that time frame. But that will make the fight go slower overall. You are right that like if the boss here goes faster when it's demist, that actually is to your advantage a little bit.
It looks like Tybalt's taking the sealed cave check, so we'll be seeing what the key item and the boss. Well, actually, we probably will want to check the boss, even if the key item is not what we were looking for, since we are still doing a boss hunt for Baiken.
And we're seeing that we don't have to keep doors, so we don't have to do these fights. And Tybalt is not going to use them as an opportunity to grind right now. But certainly not going out of his way to opening more, so a door grind is an opportunity, I guess. It's not your favorite, but it's an opportunity.
I like door grinds.
I like door grinds when I have it properly set up, that I can just cast wall and one-shot the things over and over. If I have to put in effort, I'm mad.
Well, Fu has wall. We can do it if we really wanted to, but I think we're just gonna check the key item first and hope the boss isn't Baiken. Baiken at this spot would be really quick, and it's the evil wall normally at this spot isn't too devastating, but we would have punched 3 times instead of punch once.
That's a vanilla chain. That's a vanilla Luka key into a vanilla darkness crystal. We know we don't have a vanilla boss here, but that is very valuable and probably required. We probably have to do all the objectives. Hi, Ashra. You're easy to handle here.
Yeah. And the good thing is is despite that QR4 wall, reflected wall is a very, very important, really useful status. And so instead of Azura healing herself, you benefit off of the healing, which is always nice. Although where that the healing goes, it's usually. Oh, I don't think that was the. You know what? The plan.
Fu can flail if he wants. He's an old man. He can do what he wants. He also heals every time he bonks Ashura, so like, good show. Just go for it. Saradin gets through that Demus, finds the rat tail directly, and will be able to go up to Mist Village and get a second key item check. That could actually be pretty handy. It won't get you that objective 5, but might get you the pass, might get you a different chain. So perfectly worthwhile.
Was that the rat tail at the Dr. Ligay spot? Okay, so that's. I think the only concern about, it's kind of off the rails a little bit, the Azura fight, but I think this is doable. The only concern is if the reflect goes away.
Oh yeah, no, at that point you're done.
Yeah, that's an instant reset.
Absolutely.
You need to reach. The thing about QR4 is that it needs to reach a threshold, and at this spot, for whatever reason, the evil wall spot has a lot of magic. Even though all of his magic is insta. It's pretty much insta work. It always works.
Gotta make sure it hits all the time. That's why you buff it up for the accuracy.
But they have 100% accuracy. They don't.
What about 125%? Death? How about we make it even more certain?
Why not? I think. So, anyways, the Cure 4 has is capped at healing, kind of a limit at around especially 16,000 HP or so. So, I think it's hard to tell if we reach that threshold, but we'll find out sooner rather than later. And I think it's reasonably safe that Tybalt will finish the battle.
And there he goes. Yep, done and done. Cecil's the only one standing, but hey, that is a darkness crystal in hand. That is the route to objective number 5.
Yeah, so at least we have we can do giant, and it's a good time to do a grind when we reach there. I mean, we have a Fu, we have a Tele Plus. That's what it is.
Yeah, we could. That's We could Tibble just going down a rope for the exercise. We can set up a D machine, could we not?
Should be able to. What does he have? Weak. That would be only. Oh, he didn't try to use weak in the
D. Has weak.
Yeah. So we should be.
Yeah, we haven't checked if E no XP is on. This is the problem. So it may be completely barred in this particular seed. But if it's not, then that's your grind option.
Yeah, we'll probably have to check. We'll probably need a quick Baron fight to check, just in case. Maybe that's what since when we're doing the kind of the rigging to get the fight that we need, which is based off of a classic Final Fantasy 1 system of monster grind steps. So when the game is loaded, there's essentially kind of like a steps value of some sort that just keeps track of what essentially how many steps before the next battle and what the encounter will be based off of it. So it's you can set it up in such a way that you know what fight you're gonna get based off of the number of steps you take into the first fight you've gotten, which is how people do before the actual grind. Looks like Xenocat's pointing out. Yes, don't think we've done Demas. I think, yeah. Mm-hmm. It's one of the things that happens a lot with Demist.
I mean, again, that could be absolutely critical in completing these objectives, and it's not the most forgettable place having Demist at the top of Babil, but it's pretty forgettable. It's certainly, especially when you've gotten a key item directly. Saradin trying to get through these Feymarch fights and just not having the luck. Granted, Dark Imps is a pain here, so can't be blaming him.
Yeah, the Saradin's learning the same thing Tipple did learn. It's like, wait, we can't cheese these Dark Imps? Oops.
Nope. But Tibble is taking that big whale and going up to the moon first. Probably going to check the Hummingway shop, as well as just see who the character is, just a little bit of intel. We don't have Vanilla Giant, so you can really just do that bit at your leisure. But yeah. you want to be prepared before going in, at the very least.
I would still also peak value cave, Bahamut Cave, because we can see the boss from there. So if Baigen's at that spot, it's easy sailing. But if it's not, we can at least eliminate one more boss out of the pool. And we don't even know if K-Summon is on the table right now. We've gotten a ribbon from the Azure spot, so that wasn't of no value.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we still need to find Baigen, and we still need to find that pass. We are still a little ways away from any sort of go mode or any sort of no mode even.
Yeah, I think. Well, we're definitely going to do a shop check, but I would. Oh, we're doing the hairdryer spot. Although I think the mislanded.
I think that was a little bit of an error. The airstrip is over there. Yeah, quick readjustment. The hairdryer's just like not too bad for being on the moon. There's a little bit of if you have an hourglass, this is ridiculously free. This is just casual. We don't have an hourglass, but we have Medio. We have powerful spells of some description.
Let's just do the swag rocks. No, please. Oh, I would have been. It would have been awesome if swag rocks happened. It's okay. I'll survive.
Yeah, like we have pieces of Dragoon gear on some of Tibble's characters, and yeah, again, there are pieces of equipment that you're like, oh, this is pretty good. Like, not the best, but it's pretty good. In vanilla, that stuff is on the moon. It's endgame gear, but it's easy to forget that when you play the randomizer a lot. And stuff, a moon fight can be geared so that if you have Dragoon stuff, it's not hard.
You can trivia a lot of the bosses in the game, or some of the common monster fights, where the Dragoon set is really powerful. I mean, you're fighting a lot of dragons, and you become resistant to the main 3 elements that appear practically most of the time in this game. So that it's I would argue the strongest gear that isn't like that. It's and only 3 people can equip it. Like you have to think. So I mean, Cecil, Kane, and Sid. Sid is the not the less notable, but Sid can still be a tank, and we get a defense sword. So it's starting to look at least so far. I mean, we haven't checked enough chests to kind of to be convinced that it's not K-Trap. It's starting to look at least a little less like K-Trap is on.
Yeah, at this point, I would be leaning towards, okay, yeah, it's probably not K-Trap, but until I ran through Sylph Cave and came up completely empty from there, that would be my moment of, okay, unless this is horrifically rude, K-Trap is off.
Well, there's still going to be a lot of change to go with that. So
absolutely.
You're guaranteed one or the other at that point, and so.
Yeah, we're starting to look at no. This is a surprisingly rude Slapdash seed, but that's the mystery. Sometimes you get very fast and very smooth. Sometimes you get Mom Bomb at Bahamut, which is not required, so it actually doesn't factor into this conversation. But Mom Bomb is at Bahamut.
Unless the pass is at Mom.
Oh yeah.
That is, we don't even know where the pass. It could be on a boss. It could be in a treasure chest. It could be in a shop. We haven't done enough thorough checks of any of them to be sure where you're going to get the pass. That is, which is kind of
and Tybalt did not go and visit the Hummingways. That's one of 2 shops left where the pass, if it's in shops, could be. Although I think if it passes in shops, it's in multiple. I'm not sure. I don't run that flag, so I would not be considered an expert on that at all. Tybalt finally going and doing Mount Hobbs.
I think it's kind of guaranteed to. If shops was on it, it'd be guaranteed to be a shop. What the requirements of that shop is kind of beyond me. I would still check the shop.
Xenocat saying in chat that it is only 1 item shop, and I would expect it's any, because again, pass is kind of a terminal item in our set, so it's not like it can't be on the moon, Yeah,
I would check the shop just to check the shop. I mean, given that we don't have
bunnies,
pins.
They're bunnies. Go visit them. They're cute.
To be fair, I didn't really notice the bunny ears. They're just humming.
They're very pixelated bunnies. Okay.
I'll have to get my eyes checked. It's just something I just didn't notice. Like I've noticed plenty of things that it's like really, okay. Did they ever keep them in other Final Fantasies? I don't feel like in the Super Nintendo ones, not so much. I just don't know if they ever kept them in other ones.
I don't know that there's direct appearances. I mean, they definitely get referenced in later ones. They get referenced in 14 because everything does. But I don't think Hummingways actually appear. Now you mention it, they're kind of like the
one-off.
The FF4 one-off, yeah. The way isn't it FF9 that just has aliens for some reason? Straight up little blue green guys. I think that one's 9. Might be 8 or 9. I haven't played either of those.
It sounds like 9, but I've never seen 9.
Oh,
so
it's FF8. Okay.
Oh, great.
Yeah, they're just there. This is a franchise that does things, I tell you.
I mean, they introduced Moogles in 5. I mean, why can't we retcon Moogles into FF4? Why can't we do that?
What, swap the Hummingways into Moogles? Hummingways are just the prototype for what Moogles... Moogles were in 3. They had a whole forest.
I did not play the 3rd. That might be it.
Yeah, I had forgotten about them, but yeah. And then chocobos were in Final Fantasy II, and the key art for them is terrifying. The end.
Somehow I need to see this, and maybe some art, new art that goes with it, just for show and tell, because that would be something. Who could say no to chocobos?
I mean, go check out the legs don't work that way. Is all I'll say. Deathlike.
Okay.
We have Saradin through the sealed cave, getting through the Yashura fight, so he's got his darkness crystal as well. Tybalt is using that crystal and is diving into the Giant of Babel.
It's a good time as any to do giant, right?
It's an objective. It could have Baigen. You've done a bit of fighting, a bit of leveling. You're not super high level, but you might as well take it. We get a Blizzard Spear from the D-Mist check, unfortunately, so that was a little bit of a womp.
It's a cold showing.
Yes, Meridia's mom giving us the cold shoulder, assuming that you rest your spear on the shoulder, which I guess maybe like that's more of a marching formation.
This is interesting. We actually wanted to go for the last arm, so this is we're still checking for K-trap. This is not threatening, but Rosa's now gonna be just saying things and doing nothing.
Talking to us, mumbling, just rambling on, which I mean that's fitting. That's fitting for me. That's fair. She's doing commentary.
Is she?
Well, she's not contributing. Our runners are the ones contributing. Go follow them.
All right, so we're waiting for last arm to explode. Oh well, Sid's not. Sid's gonna be taking his time, just staring into the eye.
Yes, analyzing the machine as is his duty as an engineer, and his gun. Now there's nothing left to analyze. Does Tybalt actually get a key item from this? Gets plenty of XP, and no key item.
Oh, we got J spells. I saw the spell learned, so J spells are on. So that means Rosa will learn things at a much lower. I hadn't really paid attention, but now it's kind of starting to make sense. J levels are on. So instead of our life 2 at like 42, life through and white at 48, those two spells are respectively learned like 50 and 55. So kind of it looks more like radio levels, but actually that also means that Porm learns spells quicker in this seed.
Yeah, Porm would have been a valid take. But we didn't get that information until very late. Also, here's the Maga Sisters. Fun.
I don't think the spot has high magic power, so this is not too bad, but they'll be tanky. Just given HP at the spot.
The tanky part is the really mean part, and Saradin does visit the Hummingways. No pass in that shop, so either it's in the Evelyn shop or it is chest or key item. So we can almost certainly rule out P shop at this point.
Yeah. So if the Evelyn shop is required, it means Hook is required, and that is yeah.
That's another random key item hunt to add to our list. You look at this and you're like, oh, there's only 3 key items that I need? You might need a lot.
Yeah, and we don't know where that chain ends with, the rat tail could lead to something once we get the hook. So, Baigen could be locked away in a really, hidden spot, package, behind package. Or Hook second, Hook not second, the first spot, the King Queen Evelyn spot. So that they can be basically locked in away from a nasty chain, say Rat Tail to Pan to I don't know, Baron to Odin spot, yeah, something like that. That would be the dream, not the dream, but the horror, the nightmare seed. Nightmares
are dreams. They're just bad dreams. Ceritin, though, is going and actually diving into the lunar subterrane. One part Baigen hunt, one part maybe looking for those key items. Finds a freebie, even with free bosses off. King Queen Evelyn is not hard to deal with. So if this provides any sort of useful key item, that's great news.
Yeah, but that also means we have to smash them. At least they're not going to be dealing very much damage. As I don't. There's, and I actually can't. We're doing more damage than normal, but still, yeah, they're not. I don't think Pale Dim needs that much magic at the spot for slow, anyways, to be successful. It's like slow is a very. It doesn't require much to get to work, so the spell power at the spot isn't too high. So this is it is practically free, but you still have to work for it. It's like imagine it's kind of like a Dr. Luge situation, like easy, but it takes time. I guess
speaking of taking time, looking at Tybalt's fight, we've got one of the sisters down after 2 Medio casts, and it looks like he's queuing up a third.
Yeah, I think Cindy's gonna come. No, Mindy's gonna come back very soon enough. This is just a lot of HP to go through Cindy. Like cap HP. So it's 6,500. 65,000. Sorry, 65,000. Yeah. So it will take quite a bit of time to chew through Cindy, and the interesting thing, sometimes Mindy gets the cast. They'll be up. Yeah, then there she goes. Probably it's a good time to remind everyone. Thanks for everyone being here. Without you, we wouldn't be here, and also for the restreamer. Gambit is restreaming, and Zeno doing the tracking for our seeds, because I would be lost if I couldn't see the icons lighting up.
And thank you to Deathlike, my co-commentator here in the booth, as we're keeping track of just what's going on along these gradually diverging routes. Tybalt has been really focused fire on those objectives. Ceritin is still kind of taking an exploratory path, and that might end up paying out with how tight the offerings have been. Ceritin just getting an ice shield from that King Queen Evelyn fight. The XP there is a real reward.
Hey.
And looks like is going to keep that reward.
Hey, you learned Nuke and White at the same time.
That's a good combo.
Although we're just going to use that one spell. It's like, you want one damage spell? How about you get the other? It's so cool, right?
Yeah, it's a bundle package because people kept wanting one and can offload the other one. The supply is just a mess right now, so please take this off our hands. So Tybalt gets to deal with a Cindy-less Mega Sisters fight for a little while, as both of the other sisters have come back. Charm is going to start happening. Direct casts of spells are going to start happening. It's going to be a little gnarly.
It's fine as long as Rosa doesn't cast Charm to chain the chaos that is Charm itself. So yeah, I think this should be fun. But they'll still take time to shoot, and she's under blink, so it doesn't help. Sometimes it's funny with the Mega Sisters that Sandy gets to cast spells that don't work on themselves, and because they have the boss bit. So Berserk being one of them. Hey, it's our favorite swag.
Is that like our fourth Medio cast in this fight? But there's been a lot of Medio has been happening. Medio is on.
can only cast it once because we don't have access to J items. Soma drops. Not a thing.
But plenty of ethers, though. We got plenty of ethers. Just keep refilling the old man.
It would actually be more devastating if Charm actually hit Fu. That would make this.
Mm-hmm.
That would make the horror become true. Have we? Oh, I'm about to say it would have been a thought. I was going to say this to check. Both Waterfall and Mistcave to get Fu online, like, because we know that Saradin got a Fu online with Nuke, and right now he'll learn it after this fight with Tybalt.
Yeah, I mean, the Mistcave check, that was the Alt Gauntlet. That's slow regardless. The CPU at Waterfall, not too bad, and certainly with a physical party that can deal with it. But I totally agree with Tybalt's approach. Just take fights that are pushing you towards objectives. Don't visit the antlion on the moon. There's always an antlion on the moon. It will hurt you.
It becomes daily trips. Antlion has daily trips to the moon. This is the thing.
Yeah, it's part of its exercise regimen.
What is it exercising though?
The pincers. The pincers. They need a lot of work on the pincers. Oh, hey, there's Dark Knight at CPU. Fun.
Oh boy.
Oh.
Surprise. And the worst part is that we can't cheat in this, so we have to punch through that and survive that. So this is a required grind now. I'm not sure we're able to. Are we able to back out of the giant?
Yes, it is not vanilla giant. We can leave. We can come back, but you have to grind a lot now. You're already here. Tybalt may take one or two more swings at this, but I would not be surprised if he sets up an impromptu D machine soon after.
This is not pretty. You you have to actually take a hit, and you only survive the hit, but then the follow-up is the problem. So the value now is that you probably will have to double slow him as well, on top of that, to reduce the frequency of the damage you're taking. But we have the spells, we can take it on, we can definitely tank the damage. It's how fast we do it. We could probably berserk like Sid and Cecil and try to do it, but then we'll run into MP related situations. So Fu would be kind of ineffective. I think looks like we're gonna burst him down. So I guess so we're relying on Fu to do all the work, which is common on Fu and friends.
There are definitely corners of this community that just knows the DKC fight as Pain Man, and this is why this is top tier Pain Man presentation.
Yeah, that on top of CPU never punches. So again, why balance that? So Pain Man has a damage limit technically, but even then it's still gonna hurt.
Yeah, so we don't have a Zeromus fight. We don't need a Zeromus fight. Here's your final boss. Fortunately, though, getting Dark DKC at CPU rather than Elements, the HP is a fair bit lower. So you don't have to chip away as hard, but you still have to survive all of those Dark Waves.
Yeah. Slow, we don't even have J items to throw a Silk Web to slow him down. So we might have to spend a turn using that. I think some preparation to do is just use Rose or Fu turn to use slow. And let Cecil and Sid be just potion throwers, and just let them keep everyone upright. That looks like and once we get them slow enough, let Fu do his thing.
So we have verified, though, over on Saradin's side that K-Moon is on, as we have obtained the Earth Crystal out of that's the Plague fight, I believe. Yeah, is skipping the ribbon room, or did that earlier and I didn't observe it. Gonna go down and check the Ogopogo spot.
Yeah, so when K Moon is on, well, that means we just have to beat up everything on the moon, which might not necessarily include Bahamut spot, because I think that's under K Summon. Yeah, if you're fading the D-Lunar's room, it's because if it's a singular boss, they'll have essentially almost max HP.
Yeah, roughly.
So it would be tanky, but you still have. At some point, you will still have to check it. So you can fade for now, and because Ogo spot is just one boss with a finite amount of HP and does his rare hit on poison.
But yeah, it is worse that it is Kainazo though. Kainazo's waves being HP based. You can get the lid off, you can prevent them, usually. But with this party and the situation that our runners are kind of facing, you don't want to be leaning on getting every lid off every time perfectly. That's Zeroma's level stuff, and he's not Zeroma's.
The only source of lighting would actually be Fu, and that's a kind of a problem. We don't have J items, so we can't even slow up. We could try to slow him down with slow. But we need to survive the first wave ultimately, and if we even at least prevent it. So I think it could be done, but it will require. We just don't have the best tools or options to deal with Kainazo at that spot. Which I think this is what Saradin's concluded. I think it's probably doable, but it's a more precise, especially because you need to get your timing and your agility set up correctly versus Kainazo to just not get waved to death on the first go.
Meanwhile, Tybalt though maintaining a decent cadence, using the bruisers as potion throwers, like you mentioned, and Rosa is able to hold things together relatively well, just enough to keep everyone standing and letting Fu do the big nuke damage.
Yeah,
I think Tybalt is going to have this one together at this point.
It doesn't, though. It could take one bad dark wave where you lose one character. Rose is the most vulnerable at the moment, but
is through.
Oh, there we go.
So that is a big stack of XP, and that is objective number 5 completed for Tybalt.
So what is our prize? That's the question. Is there a character? Is it classic or not? It's hard to tell.
Technically.
Yeah, it's a character. Character that we don't even know if we have the spoon, but we don't know. And
we're not gonna know. We're never gonna know.
No.
We're also about to find out if it's 2 or more than 2. We haven't technically finished the objective until we see the little pop-up happen. It's more than 2. We got to keep going.
We should really be setting up the worst case scenario, all 5.
Yeah, that's a reasonable expectation, but you never know. And I'm sure our runners are they have a little done prepped just in case it pops up all of a sudden.
Yeah. So I think the next thing we want to do, maybe go back to trying the king spot. This is what I'm thinking might happen, given what we know. Yeah, I don't think Tybalt wants to do the moon. Although we're finding that there is at least one critical key, at least one key item that can chain into something. So anything could happen. I think going with a guaranteed objective is not the worst thing.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm wavering constantly on what could the key item distribution be. Is K-Trap still a valid possibility? We've seen so many boss locations that it feels likely, but we've also not seen so many key items that can lead to other key items that maybe it is all just chains and there is no K-Trap on. This is the trouble that you get yourself into with mystery seeds is you can kind of just overthink it a bit.
Yeah, you I think in a mystery seed, I think you just have to go for the worst, look at the worst case scenario, and go from there. Like if it ends and everything matches up with what you want to do, great. When it doesn't, well, it's the slog you'll have to go through. So you have to just kind of treat it as it is. Just do everything you can do that is available to you, that is within reason, and then.
Yeah. But fortunately, Saradin running into something that is not going to be too much of a slog. So we have the officer-soldier fight at the Wyvern spot, the Crystal Sword altar. It's not free, but it sure is cheap.
Yeah, well, Wyvern doesn't punch at the spot, so I think in this case, I think the frontmost soldier is going to do full damage. The middle section will do partial damage because they're considered back row. And the very one in the back is also considered back row, so...
Yeah, but Officer never actually attacks. He just runs away, so... Quick, fairly free fight.
Yeah, it's a good thing when there is a spell called Retreat. It's essentially a spell. It's not even... It's like, when monsters are in toad form, or piggy, they can't use their spells. And Retreat is still considered a spell, so... it can't retreat, which is good for XP gaining experience, but also just kind of good knowledge.
Now, that makes me wonder, because we were talking about enemy spell accuracy and all of that. It makes me wonder if retreat can miss. And I feel like the answer is yes, even if it's not in this game. I think there are other Final Fantasies where enemies have retreat scripts that can miss, and they just don't run away, which is a funny thought.
I think I'm not sure. I think I might be part of the group of spells where the spells always work unless you resist them. So I'm not. I'm not the. Should know the answer, but I don't think. No, the thing is, I think the spell has a natural accuracy. It's a perfect accuracy, so it's not going to miss.
I mean, let's be honest. That's a ridiculous thing to dive into and know. So I don't blame anyone for not knowing. I mean, this game has some interesting quirks about it from time to time.
Well, there are certain cases where some spells that you think of perfect accuracy can miss, like say we talk about Tella and Tella Life, and you know how he can miss. Like you see Berserk miss. Like what?
Yep.
Well, Berserk has a natural 50% accuracy. If you have a curse ring on him, well, that accuracy never increases. It's one of those spells where having an increased spell multiplier actually increases your chances, where it becomes almost 99-100% type of deal. But when he has a curse ring, he's literally doing bare accuracy. So it doesn't. So that's why when you see it happen, it's part of Telelife. So one of the things that you don't very rarely see in Free Enterprise is enemies in blind status, like characters in blind status.
Yep.
Oh, there's the hook.
There we go. Objective 4 done for Tybalt. The hook obtained. Got to keep going. Looking very likely that it's all 5.
So look, the rat tail's on the top of tower, so that'd probably be the next thing to do. It looks like it might be even. We're the underground. Might as well do it. Just do keyless tower.
Yeah, and actually this is a good point that we have now confirmed K-Main, K-Summon, and K-Moon. We have not confirmed K-Trap. With that trio of flags on, and what we've seen, I'm leaning towards Trap is probably off at this point. So you would only be digging through chests looking for a pass in a chest.
Right. So yeah, and that's at least that makes life easier. We still need to check Evelyn. That's what Tibba might need to check Evelyn just for the sake of checking. That might be worthwhile. If we're not doing there we go.
Yeah, my path here would be go turn in the tail. You don't have the rat tail, but whatever. Go do the pink tail. See, maybe you get the adamant armor. Probably you just get some good gear. And then, yeah, dip into Evelyn, check those shops. You're still checking shops for that pass. Check the boss at the first spot. Could be a cheeky buy again, could be exactly what you need. And then, just kind of go from there, go based off of that set of information.
Yeah. So I was kind of in the middle. I was kind of self-interrupted myself regarding accuracy. So there are spells like damage spells like Fire One. They have naturally 100% accuracy, and that Avenger is awesome. That's a significant power boost given the weapon situation.
Mm-hmm. No adamant armor, but yeah, you'll absolutely take that.
So spells. So if you have Tella, give him a cursed ring and make him blind. He will miss his casts of Cure 1 or Lightning 1. Those spells can actually miss. Mm-hmm. So now that's obviously a contrived situation, but it tells you that spell accuracy can dictate success. So, and I think one of the rare attack spells that do that is the Goblin Summon that no one remembers, and you would prefer to forget because it does practically nothing.
That I could never find playing the Pixel Remaster. It simply won't show up.
It's not worth it.
It gives me an achievement. It's worth it, Deathlike.
Wow, the shop is actually pretty good here, and yet but we don't have anything worth buying.
It doesn't have the pass is the worst part of it. So we have ruled that out. It is either in 3 random chests or it is after a boss fight somewhere.
This is if K-Pass is in a treasure chest, I'm wondering where it's limited to. I mean, if it's underground, then Scythe's Cave is like the most dense spot to do it.
And neither of our runners really dug deep into Sylph Cave because again, the trap chests in there, our runners were not willing to take that on at that time. So there's plenty of opportunities for it to be there. I think it can be in a chest on the moon, but I'm not positive on that. And the surface, there's always one there. Our runners have checked a lot of the overworld, though. Oh, pass cannot be on the moon. Xenocat corrected me. Thank you.
Okay, so yeah, Scythe's Cave becomes a lot more interesting just to search. I mean, obviously we're still checking everything here, but we're not really doing a thorough check, which is it's hampering because we forget that we kind of take the pass for granted if we know what the flag is, and this is kind of the punishment we're getting.
Yeah, that is the wrong guard sprite. That is a twin harp and a pan out of the ribbon room.
That is pretty significant.
Yeah, that's a lot of opportunity. Saradin has a lot of options here. They can only lead to 2 of the objectives, but it's looking like we are going to need them both.
I think in this situation, I would try going to do the free objectives through the pan, and then determine whether you want to you chain your harp into Earth, and maybe hope for the Baron key or something turns up in some connection. You harp to Earth to Baron, and assuming if you can get the Baron key in some combination.
I think that's the strongest play here. You're playing to your strength. You've gone and done the entire subterrane, so run with the stuff that you've picked up, and yeah, that would be the way you would route it. Harp into Earth Crystal, and that gets you 2 key item checks, 3 boss checks, so that's great. You get character checks, but whatever. Our parties are pretty set at this point. We're not shuffling those around.
Yeah, so I'm thinking, well, definitely these free checks. So basically, one from the Scythes after waking up Yang with the pan, and Sheila too. So we're at least the runners are hoping for this. Mm-hmm. It's Ruby and King Queen F spot. So no.
Oh, lovely. That's a great thing to not do. That's a tower key from the pan bonk.
So I guess we'll divert a little bit after this. Maybe do that check before we leave. That might be a good routing decision. At least I would do it. I mean, it's right there.
Yeah, I mean, did do the keyless tower earlier, but yeah, at this point, quick in and out.
As long as our wonderful, happy-go-lucky boss Golbez isn't at this spot.
And you know he will be, is the thing. He simply will be.
Yes, if we will it will happen. I don't think we've seen Golbez yet. I think have we seen? I think we've seen Val, and
I don't believe we saw Val. We saw the Val sprite coming in because of an element's appearance, but I don't think we saw Val herself.
Mom Bomb's at Cave Bahamut, so yeah.
Oh no, the doctor is
Doctor's in.
The doctor is in. I feel like there's some kind of undercover boss thing going on. Like he'd normally be up top, giving the orders, but he's come down here and do the dirty work himself. Good on you. We're gonna get rid of you now because you're in our way.
It's French vanilla. These still easy to take care of, but longer than we'd like. I mean, there are more time-consuming things at the spot, like Alt Gauntlet, which is not in this spot. It's in the Mist Cave, last I recall.
Yep, Alt Gauntlet in Mist Cave.
So I don't think. I'm starting to think Cave Trap is not a thing, and if Cave Trap was a thing, it would just be one key item, like one, just as a tease.
Yeah, at this point, I think that's one of the few flags remaining on this mystery seed that we don't know for certain, but it kind of doesn't matter. We've gotten enough information, we've gotten enough direction. We can work with the intel that we have. And if there is still a cheeky surprise in there, well, oh well. The seed has already been an hour 45 almost. With Tybalt has 3 objectives down. Saradin has not gotten any done, and not for lack of trying.
Yeah, I mean, with mystery flags, when you're preparing for a seed, at least in most seeds that have been rolled in other clubs, other leagues, exactly what you're getting. It can vary in time. It could easily be just as much as a jet seed than it is the worst seed ever rolled, and it should be burned.
That's Slapdash, baby. That is a Baron key as well from the Super Cannon room. So Saradin is getting that chain that we were talking about. Just key item into key item into key item. And for all we know, may get another one out of Sheila too.
Yeah, that's what makes these chains interesting. That's why it's like I gotta possibly prepare for this twin harp.
Ooh, that's
is.
value. That is ribbon room to pan bonk to pass, and that is the pass that we need to complete objective number 2. So that chain is required now.
Moon required, not just darkness crystal. Moon required.
But Tybalt is in the position not facing down the Kanazo, is now aware of the Kanazo, and has decided not to perceive it. You're going to have to perceive that, unfortunately. So prepare for that. Yeah.
Well, the news will eventually get to him, but right now, it's. Well, it'll take some time. Like, you want to do something else? Well, okay, but you're just gonna be spending that time. Sometimes the worst possible thing is the thing you have to do. So, so just as much as the easiest thing is could be just as much as the easy thing, like King Queen Evelyn. So.
And our restreamer Gambit giving us a nice rundown of the boss locations that remain. We have the Twin Harp that Saradin is headed towards right now. We do have the 2 checks in Zot. Neither of our runners, have gone up to check any of that. And there is the entirety of Baron, save for the Baigan spot itself. We know that is Dolls. Along with the package that is so easy to forget. And if Baigan is there, then chef's kiss.
Yeah, although this is starting to turn out to be a late boss hunt, because Baigan is everywhere and nowhere at the same time. Yeah,
but Yeah, we have done the pass check. Saradin has objective 2, and after opening the pass door that leads you straight to Zeromus, we're gonna go do music. Because that's what this seed is. Slapdash, baby. I'm gonna keep saying that until it's annoying.
Music. Good times. Just, so one of the things about music that is quite cool is that there's a ton. Because this is a randomizer, we like to do other things too, like randomize the harp music that comes out of Edward's harp. So
yep, 200 some odd possibilities. I've lost track. Xenocat, along with Calamity, a few other contributors. There's been plenty of people. 300. That's an even larger number. This could be all sorts of music. Probably from a video game. Probably not recognizable to me because I'm bad. Let's see what it is, shall we?
Alright, so let DJ Spoony B do his thing.
Yeah, try as you might, you are not fading the harp on this seed.
So, Moon double required.
Kainazo double required. As we got both the pan and the harp from that ribbon room. Getting a sand ruby here, that's a nice joke. Good funny. We don't care about that. We are in go mode.
Yeah, so I think we're probably gonna try to do the Fey March bosses in order before going to the Giant, unless we want to get the grind, and then we go do that kind of in reverse. So that's what Saradin's gonna be doing most likely.
The big question that we're looking at, Saradin knows what is down in the Fey March, knows that those are rough fights. No clue what's in the Giants. Does not know that we have DKC at CPU. If you had that information, you'd be like, the Fey March fights are easier. But not knowing that, you may be inclined to go to the Giant and hope for not necessarily freebies, but something more manageable to get that huge splash of XP. And it looks like that's the direction Saradin is going to take.
Yeah, I mean, you can try. You're gambling for something that's an unknown quantity, hoping for something easy. But we don't. Again, we don't have the no free bosses are available. So that which means if it was like Water Hag or especially the DKC, which is the one that we really don't want to see. But again, well, they don't want to see, but we want to see. That that's going to kind of change maybe thinking a little bit. But considering that Tybalt didn't have too much difficulty with what he had set up, it probably would be the similar here. Just if the similar tactics are employed. I think I'm forgetting if Saradin had the Sid. It's just one of the things at this point is like, it's been this long. What does Saradin have? I don't remember.
Nope, Saradin has kept that cane this entire time. So a bit more physical power compared to Tybalt just letting Sid just chill. He's just vibing. The engineer is just vibing.
I think Saradin might have a more difficult selection. Probably like when we get to the Dark Knight, they'll be like in there, might reset immediately. Like, oh no, my agility situation is not where it needs to be. That will be the first thing. So I don't think the Mag Sisters fight will be too bad. This is the CPU fight, at least the CPU spot fight will be the one where it's like, oh oops, type of deal. That's the first thing that's gonna happen for sure.
So it seems like Tybalt has been completely avoiding the Kanazo fight, unless he did it and got the items and we all just missed it. Has completely said no to it, and that is devastating, I dare say.
Well, we want to check the easier boss, or at least we think would be. We're hoping for he's hoping for a Baigan. That's what. He's
really just hunting that down, but unfortunately, that Baigan is behind 2 checks.
Yeah, that's gotta be unfortunate. So this is what you time consumed and that's not gonna be proving fruitful.
Yeah, and that's space for Saradin to catch up, so he knows exactly what he needs to do, and it's not all gonna be easy, but at least he knows his itinerary.
Kanazo at a lot of spots. He's not quite like Wyvern Blarg level, but Kanazo it has been known to make people change their minds. Like, no, that's okay. I'll let the turtle lay here. I'll be back. Maybe not. So that punch was pretty quick, and
this spot punch. This is another one, like you had mentioned, Deathlike, on a few locations where the vanilla boss doesn't do physical attacks. Therefore, that stat just gets pumped all the way up because programming-wise, it didn't matter. 20-some years later, we have a randomizer where it does matter and makes punchy bosses very, very dangerous. Bahamut just counts to 5 and goes Blarg. None of that is punching, so big punch stat, and Mom Bomb takes advantage of that.
So my understanding of the Mom Bomb spot, at least for the purposes of randomizer, is Mom Bomb is about 9,000 HP you have to go through before it triggers the script that it was like 9,000 on top, 9,000 HP on top of what that spot would normally have. So, and that's because you need that in the normal vanilla sequence, you do enough HP, Mom Bomb does changes, and you need to. You have to either wait it out so it explodes and summons the other bombs, or you have to slash 9,000 HP, which at that point usually does not happen because you don't have enough damage, you don't have enough DPS, so that never happens. So in this instance, it would be whatever Bahamut has for HP plus 9,000 that you have to do on top of it. So you would hop at some point. Once where he's changing, Mom Bomb's changing phase, so we can probably berserk Cecil and let Fu nuke all the things, or maybe just wait it out, because then he probably will just meteor them all or quake them. I don't know how much HP will be generated, but it will probably, and there's some split HP due to for that split HP because these bombs have to have some HP. And the HP pool comes from, well, part of the combined HP spot at this location. So yeah, that's hopefully Quake is enough damage, or we're gonna have a bad time with exploding bombs.
Turns out Quake is enough damage. Turns out doing 2,500, 3,000 a pop, it works. Didn't get the full magic resist, and that's an insult. Is what that is. That's a tragedy. That's a 10 stack of tragedy.
So got inventory boss too.
Yeah, that's. The game was really trying to tell you, don't bother with Cave Bahamut. It's not what you want to do.
No value here. That's what it's telling you. So, it's value until it isn't.
Mm-hmm.
Looks like Tybalt's doing the check he did not do, but I think the check. This will verify. Oh no! The inventory boss strikes again.
Yeah, clean that stuff out and get some more Cure 3s, sure. But this is where you learn. Nope, there is no pass. You're gonna have to track it down, and you're gonna have to do a few more fights to get there.
So one of the cool things I didn't learn about this randomizer, so Cure 3s are guaranteed to be available if and only if you do not get a white mage in a seed. So no, I don't call paladins white mages because they're like kind of like backup white mage, and they're not even good. They're not the best at backing up. Outside of like exit, like yeah, Cure 2 doesn't.
Yeah, it's utility. It's not healing.
Yeah. So yeah, Cure 3s are not guaranteed to be in the seed, generally speaking, unless there's no white mage.
Although we started with a white mage, so having that huge stack of Cure 3s, not just nice. It's just nice.
It's a good safety net, admittedly. I think Tybalt's trying to check for K-Trap. Even if K-Trap was on, now that we know it's not required. It doesn't matter, and so this time will be is going to be wasted time.
Yeah, no, he was right there, right on the cusp of what he needed to get, and then left the moon, and that's a tragedy. That's what that is. Could get a crystal sword, sure, but there's another crystal. Actually, no, we don't need the earth crystal at all. We don't care about that. We care about the harp. The harp's not made of crystal. That would sound terrible. Probably.
Wait, what if it was made of crystal?
I imagine just the material and the resonance that you get out of it as a musical instrument, like that is meaningful. It's like different guitars, made out of different materials, different kinds of wood. That's a factor. I play drums, so I don't actually know any of that stuff.
That's crystal is kind of sharpish, I guess.
Yeah. I mean, a crystal drum set would be massively expensive. Vista Light alone is far too much to spend for my tastes.
I think Saraden's into the DKC Pain Man fight, and finding out that Slow is a great spell, and Cure 3s are his best friend.
Yep, so using those Cure 3s to kind of make up for the lack of a wide Cure 4, just keep the party alive, hopefully survive another wave. This buys time to do those slow casts. So this is just a lot of preparing for the actual fight and then getting into that cadence that we saw Tybalt manage to put together.
Yeah, I think the only difference here is Kain is faster, so we'll be able to, unlike Sid, who's essentially, although in Tybalt's case where Sid was the anchor, he slowed everything down, made life overall easier. Kain will be faster, but we're right now it's essentially effectively Cecil agility that's dictating the speed. So, because even if vanilla agility was on, Cecil is in the middle slot, which takes precedence. So that's so my if there is no wipe, then great. This is normally where you'd probably want to rearrange characters to slow this fight down, but at least try to readjust the agility situation. I think you're trying to steal a turn to get nukes off. See if that pays off. Tibble is taking on Demist because
And it's through Demist.
it's easier to do Demist when you have nuke. But everything is easier when you have nuke.
So I guess we're gonna get to see what the Rat Tail provides us now. And Saradin never found that hook, so never had the opportunity to turn it in. It's not going to give us anything meaningful, but it could give us something. It could give us a package just further down the misdirection.
Yeah, it's kind of it's not the greatest of situations given what we know. Like as the runner, you're like anything you get is valuable. It's kind of one of those things where you're late in the seed and fading something is like you're essentially going to stick by what you're going to go hard on what you fade, and this is so it won't be a surprise. Early in a lot of seeds, sometimes you want to fade it early game because if it ends up that you actually have to do it, you'll be behind, but you have time to make up. Where at the end of the game, you essentially kind of live or die by what you've decided. It's more. So sometimes early checks that things you fade will gain a lot of time. In other instances, in this instance, it's kind of you're just gonna add more time. You're just gonna spend more time doing everything else but the thing you actually need to do. Yeah, lose. Oh, go full life too. Wow, that's a lot of MP. But that also means Kane goes down.
Yep. No, I question in chat. I think at this point, Saradin is well aware of how not free this boss is.
Yep.
And it all falls. Like it's so easy for this fight to fall apart, like it just did for Saradin. Has the battle speed 6. This is the most favorable conditions he's going to get. So you just have to get your strategy right and execute. And the Rat Tail is the package. Oh dear, Tibbles.
We're gonna do the package.
I fear that is going to happen, and it's just going to be sad.
Because we're just gonna check the boss since he has no idea where Bagan is.
Yeah, no, you follow that through. You commit to your bit, but not the bit you want to commit to. Oh, actually, he might not, or he might be setting up a save. Go through the package. Will be disappointed. Will go back to the moon immediately upon reloading.
This is a reminder: if you enter Mist, go over the right side, because if and when you have the package, this is what happens. It looks like a spear, I think. That's from the Plague Altar, I think. A package of spears.
Yeah. Yeah, or maybe one of the ninja swords. Some lunar reward, certainly.
And Porum is the white mage at this spot, so that's we're way past wanting Porum in our team. Way past. Even when we declined her help earlier in the Baron Inn. I think there's another seed. I think I forget what it was. Where I think this event doesn't. We have to fight this event. I think it's like one of those. It's like a secondary. Like we don't want this. This event. Oh no, I think it's one of those permadeader seeds. That's what I'm thinking.
Mm-hmm.
Like you have to actually survive the event.
Yeah, permadeader. You actually have to survive Titan's Quake and Dark Elf's barrage at the Twin Harp. But that is a very red flag on the website, and for a reason. I know folks who run permadeath all the time who won't touch permadeader.
Yeah, I think the Dark Elf spot does a lot of damage, especially in vanilla. When it's not quite 1,000 damage, but it's quite close. The elf, that version of the elf has a lot more magic power, and that's the other Mylon, the Mylon and Friends.
Yep, you're just going to you're trying to get a rest, and a dance party shows up, and you want none of it. Tybalt wants none of it. So coming up here, picking up another character. I don't know what he's going to swap around. Swapping Sids for better agility, better anchoring. And yeah, go handle those last few fights on the moon. That's what it's going to take you. Yeah,
it's a smart strategy. The Sid that we picked up, I think probably on Mount Ordeals. I don't know which Ed. At this point, it's hard to remember which Sid came from this. There was a Moon Sid, and there was Mount Hop Sid.
Just so many Sids. It's like it's a Final Fantasy game.
Yeah. We're doing. Are we doing the grind? Or we're trying to set something up.
Yeah, definitely a setup, but I don't know what you would be wanting to set up here right now.
I think that's supposed to be for Sid, right?
Probably. A two-party member setup. I mean, we just have the moon left, really. I don't know how that avails you on the Kanazo fight. This is the kind of stratum we're gonna have to ask Tybalt about after the run.
Yeah, probably Rosa wasn't supposed to die. That's what I think. I think Sid was supposed to be the actual anchor, because forcing the nap on the anchor is a common thing. So we'll worry about it then. It's hard to. I think we're trying to manipulate the agility is what we're doing right now. Yeah, this is definitely set up for that. Not sure how much damage Saradin has done on Pain Man, but it's probably a second nuke in, probably. I think we're trying to get it to a decent cadence where Rosa is the only one doing the healing, because she has the most willpower to drive Cure 4 without having to do a secondary heal. And let Fu do his thing. I think this is like another K-trap check for Tybalt.
Yeah, just one more check, one more little bit of XP. Not that it much matters levels wise. And yeah, just nope, nothing.
And Saradin's completed his Pain Man fight. So now all it comes down to is whether you want to do King or Queen spot. And I think
you got to do them both. So I would take Queen spot first. I would take the Leviathan fight rather than the Leviathan spot. Knowing that it is no free bosses. If it was free bosses, actually Saradin might be done with the seed by this time if it were free. Yeah.
It's I would do that. I mean, we're hoping if that spot that would end, at least for Saradin, it ended the game. I mean, all there is left is really those two spots. So doing the easiest spot would definitely save some time if it's just only 4 out of 5.
Yeah, and Tybalt hard committing to that K-trap, unfortunately. So we'll be able to make short work of pretty much every trap chest down here. So I'm not surprised he's not even worried about his HP. But again, this is all just stuff that is not going to pay out.
Yeah. Hey, at least we get to see. Oh, leather! Oh my God, leather helmet. So yeah, normally I forget. There's a flag that automatically converts what we would consider trash, like a QR1, into immediate money. So that flag apparently is not on. And really paid attention, but it's like, wait, a leather hat?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I remember those. Yeah, that gets inventory boss. That makes it rise. Come from beyond. That would actually explain a lot of the junk we've been getting from bosses too.
Yeah.
Some degree.
Yeah. Not only have we ruled out the really good stuff, we've ruled in a lot of bad stuff.
I think we're trying to get the Quake in. It should be fast enough. There we go.
Yeah, no, Tybalt's parties, and the Fu especially, is plenty fast to one-shot everything.
I mean, yeah. This is like you just like if they get a turn, it could be like a chain, a chain of death because they usually fall since they're all about the same agility. Since they're the same monster, like yeah, that's.
I will observe that I'm a frog in his party, and that's not a state that I would like to be in, but you know, it's his seed.
Yeah. Oh, vanilla is still good. Yes. Leviathan. Even though it's not in his normal spot. You know, Leviathan wants to be queen for a day. That's okay.
Yeah, you can do that.
Although he doesn't have a tiara on his head, which is sad. It's a little sad. I almost think nuke would be faster. Oh no, we do nuke. I thought it was doing like lit 3 because that would expose the weakness, but that would just take so much time. Like,
yeah, lit 3 has a cast time. Nuke doesn't.
Yeah.
No time is better than some time.
Yeah. So something like Virus is also instant cast. And Cure 4. Like sometimes there are instances where you may want to conserve MP using Cure 3, but I think that has a delay. The slightest of delays. Cure 4 does not have any delay, which can be a difference between getting the Cure 4 in or not getting it in. So it looks like Tybalt. Oh no, Tybalt's really going down the K-trap route.
Yeah, it does seem like it. A little surprising that he's leaving his party the way it is, and leaning in that direction rather than going for the 2 bosses left. Maybe on the assumption that K-Moon is off. Given that his dives. Oh no! This is a dive to the boss spots. He's skipping so many chests.
Okay, so maybe it was just confused for a moment.
May have been opportunistic as well.
I mean, sometimes this dungeon is pretty large. Sometimes you forget. I don't even I know where the vanilla spots are for the trap chests.
I have no bloody idea where they are.
I can only tell you a few spots with which vanilla treasure would have, but I don't do you know where the crystal armor is? No. I just have to beat a monster up and call it a day.
I can't even remember how many trap chests are in the lunar subterrane. I always forget the exact count.
It's like 7 or 9.
Exactly, 7 or 9. I'm never positive.
Well, I can remember which treasure are there. There's there's the crystal set of armor, so that's 4. Stardust Rod, Life Staff, Ninja Robe, Protect Ring, and Heroine Robe. That's what it is, yeah. 9.
Okay, there we go, 9, yeah. And that is Saradin through the Queen fight. Gotta do all 5. All 5 are required, so heal up and take on the Dark Imps.
Well, we'll never find out what's after the rat tail. So I guess that's a plus. I don't know. For us, information, not so much, but Sheridan doesn't matter.
Well, Sheridan won't find out. Tybalt did check that. That was the package.
Oh, right.
That was the great misdirection.
Yeah. No. Those are cheeky checks, and at least in this seed, we're not required. So that's great. Although at this point we're never gonna forge, so we don't know where it is, and frankly, it's trash because we've been getting trash items most of the seed.
I'm honestly a little, but those are the only key items we haven't seen, which means they must be at Baron and Earth Crystal at this point.
Could both be at Baron,
yeah.
But either
Baron
way,
yeah,
half of it at least at Baron. That's what this point. Let me just guess right now, just for fun of it. Legend Sword at the Kanazo spot. Well, the pot rather specifically. Starting to wonder, when does the Antlion take his vacations? How does it get to the moon? Those are deep questions that we need to ask.
Private jet. Antlion is very rich. Got in very early on the first .com bubble, and has just been riding that ever since. A bit insufferable about it, frankly.
And inventory boss strikes again. Well, I don't think we have a ninja in the seed, so no worries there. Looking pretty safe. I mean, Kane in the front it doesn't matter. Did we get an Avenger somewhere?
Avenger was the Pink Tail reward.
It's never gotten the hook. I mean, the last thing we'll get a hook, but it won't be able to get. Yeah.
Yeah, Tibble might be able to use that on the Kanazo fight and try and get that damage in a bit faster. Those waves are HP based. So the more damage you do, the earlier, great. That might be key to him being able to survive this fight.
Yeah, the Berserk is like this whole host of bugs that go with it. But the thing you care about with Avenger is just want to smash things and take inputs away from the from the AI. You want to get your attack in before the monster takes its turn. Yeah, the Spell of Champs Blink. We've just seen it twice.
Sheridan is 1/3 of the way through his final fight.
Some Dark Imp trivia. Did you know that Dark Imps do not drop the Imp spell?
I did not. I was operating on the assumption based on my Pixel Remaster playthrough that nothing drops the Imp spell.
Yeah, you could. There's a place in the Feymarch where the Summoner generates those. That would probably be the best place to get it. I'm pretty sure that's the place. Every other imp can drop it, but the Dark Imps do not drop the Imp spell, which is it's a little strange, but that's a fact. It's a real thing. Other fun fact: Keinazo is the other boss that does something similar to Val, where where the shell thing he does when he's nearly dead actually increases his defense. It's the same trick that Val does, where the evasion and defense stat actually changes in that mode. So you do a little bit less damage. It's at these levels, those numbers don't matter. But at lower levels, that shell can be annoying to take down. At least that version of Kinazo with physical attacks.
Yep. Tybalt does get him into that shell state. So a few more swings. Nope, one more swing.
And then the final truth will be realized. And inventory boss is struck again.
Yeah, but Tybalt does not know it, but is in Gobo now.
Yeah, so probably we'll check the pan first and then start doing everything else. Ideally, you would start with the Twin Harp because you obviously the Baron Key is a little bit late in the chain, but doing pan first, ideally, and then doing ideally would be a combo of Twin Harp, Earth Crystal, then Baron Key, due to how those objectives route with each other very well.
While Saradin is on the final Dark Imp, Tybalt is going to go underground to the pan check first. Saradin just has to hold out long enough to get this one down, and that will be GG for him.
Yeah, those Tri-Dark Imps just are very similar to Bagan in the grand scheme of things. Mm-hmm. If when no free bosses are online, because Bagan normally is essentially that with the boss bits already there. One could argue the Dark Imps are the real boss in the seed.
I mean, we've had so many real final bosses. Let's be honest. We had DKC, a CPU. We had Kanazo in the Ribbon Room. We had these Dark Imps, the Leviathan, a lot of tough boss fights in this role. But that's Slapdash. Sometimes it's like that. Sometimes it's really simple, 2 objectives, and you're out of here in 30 minutes.
Yep, rando be rando.
Yep, but that is Saradin through the Dark Imps fight. Has to wait for the message to pop up, and will be able to put in his dot done. But with that, we have Saradin finishing first place on the restream and 3rd place overall. The official time of 2:24:25. Our first and second place tonight were Pyre, taking first with a 2:14:46. 2:14 was first place. And Poydrak taking second with a 2:15:19. So, yeah. We will see if we can get Saradin in here to talk about what just happened. And that looks like that is Saradin here. GG. Yeah.
That's about the word I would use to describe it.
What a seed that was rolled. I'm sure it had the best flags that ever lived.
Oh yeah, that was great. We had the dupe glitch, and then I'm assuming it was S Pro because there was nothing good to spend that money on except the stack of ethers and the stack of Cure 3s and the stack of cabins. All of which ended up being extremely useful, of course, but
yeah, that seemed to be about all anyone got out of that setup. Go ahead.
The mute knives actually ended up being really key in a few spots as well, which is an odd item.
No, yeah, that's true. Plenty of mage fights to deal with.
Yeah.
I would comment, comparing you to Tybalt, who is still wrapping up. You had a lot of focus on getting key items and getting key item checks and not steering towards objectives, which wound up working out. But like, was that an intentional direction or just kind of where you felt the seed was pushing you?
I did poke at the Feymarch bosses really early, just trying to get that stone off to test and see if that was going to be an easy kill there. Did not get it to land, and it turned out no free bosses was on. So yeah, I left those alone for a long time, and then it was just like kind of trying to find where everything else was. The pass ended up showing up pretty late with Sheila 2. Baigen was behind the Twin Harp, which is behind the Kainatsu and the Ribbit Room. So everything was kind of buried real deep.
Yeah, I suspect the fact that it was so buried is why it took everyone so long to get through this. Did you find like the party composition, like having Rosa and having Cecil? You have to imagine that's pretty straightforward. But dealing with the agility, the 4 party members, like was any of that giving you a hard time?
Not really. I play a lot of mystery seeds, so I'm used to having the 4 party restriction. This was actually pretty generous after getting Fu and Dwarf Castle. Kane was fine. I would have liked somebody better there. I did find an edge sword at one point, but just having Kane on Mute Knife, Blizzard Spear, Dwarf Axe through most of the game was not the greatest.
Yeah, it looks like there wasn't any edge anywhere in this seed. But yeah, Deathlight, any questions you want to bring up for Saradin?
This is just the seed was a slog. I just thinking back about it. I guess at what point did you determine whether a K trap or some of the essentially key items were at some point? Like, where did you decide? When did you decide the moon dive was the best decision?
Yeah, I knew something was up because I had so many zonks early. I was wondering if K-Trap was on. That's one of the reasons I went into Eblin Castle to find the Mad Ogre chest. It was just like, maybe I can get that kill, get some experience, find out if K-Trap is on. Did not end up looking that way. I just got another Mute Knife for my troubles. But the experience did end up being useful. So at that point, it's just like, well, let's check what is available. And then that Darkness Crystal turned up.
Yeah, we were kind of going back and forth early on as like whether or not K-Trap was likely to be on just because of how few key items were showing up early on. Were you worried about like a really deep rabbit hole showing up for you, or were you just kind of flowing with that?
Not super worried about it. Like theoretically, I could have been doing more trap chest checking, and that could have gotten me into trouble. But it would have at least given the experience to make some of the other checks easier. But yeah, like I will check convenient trap chests early. If K-Trap is a possibility, but I'm generally not going to go all in on it unless I have proof that it's on. So try not to get too deep into that.
That's reasonable.
It does look like that a K-Trap wasn't on given what was left. I mean, essentially it was a 17 out of 17 if you had gone to Baron, which Zot and Baron had the rest. With Golbez with the Legend Sword in the Odin spot. Yeah.
Oh yeah. That moon was real trolly for a while. After getting the tower key from the White Spear altar, it's like, well, K-Moon is on. And then going and checking like Ogopogo altar and Crystal Sword altar, and it's like, here's an ice shield. You know? Until Kainatsu had all the goods with the pan and the Twin Harp.
Yeah, that Kanazo was the linchpin of it all. Which Tybalt is now finally going and dealing with.
I actually had Kainatsu at Rivet Room on a mystery ladder seat earlier this week, so I'm familiar with that fight at this point.
Yeah, surprise turtle. That's
Yeah, and especially with this party that doesn't have good access to lightning, the best thing I found in that one and this one is just hit him hard, hit him fast, get below the point where the waves are dangerous.
Mm.
Yeah, I think the other part, I had remembered. I think there's no J items, no. I don't think we have J commands, right? But we had J spells. That was.
We definitely had J spells. I think we had J commands. Cecil had Dark as the Dark Knight.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry. Okay.
Yeah.
But not as useful in this.
No.
Yeah, missing all the J items, I'm sure you wanted to do some sort of maybe a siren grind or nope. That was I can't even buy star veils. That would have made your seat easier. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it assumes that became very obvious when you started shopping. It's like, why are so few items coming up, right?
Yeah, it was pretty sure S Pro. I hadn't considered the no J items, but yeah, I just didn't find anything besides the curative stuff.
Yeah,
had to check all the shops anyway because of the pass requirement, though.
You mentioned you run a decent number of mystery seeds. How do you feel this compares, like overall, like on the rudeness scale, on the fun scale, however you want to rank it?
I still enjoyed it. It was rude. This is higher on the rude level than I usually see, but I did have a good time with it.
So I enjoyed just watching a lot of the chain worst case scenarios pop up and trying to compare that to K traps. Like, is it K trap? Or if that's not the case, then where are the chains?
I was going to laugh real hard if it was just the objectives were so rude and that opening the pass door finished the game. It was just like required one. It was just like an hour 45 minutes in, open the pass door, done.
That would have actually been just brilliant comedy.
So, do you have any other thoughts about the seed in general, or what was rolled?
Like I said, I had a good time with it. It's definitely one of the more challenging ones, but definitely doable. I gotta come up with some different strategies for some of this stuff, like that Dark Knight at the end of Giant was annoying for a bit.
Yeah.
I had the thought that you'd probably try to redo your anchor situation, just because that's like one of those spots where you had plenty of levels at that time, but at lower levels, something that's like, I need to kind of rejiggle this a little bit.
Yeah, almost got it the first time. I figured I needed to get a second slow on him. Once we got it to that point, it kind of got in a nice loop there.
Yeah, I'm always pro slow if boss is too fast and too dangerous at the time you're fighting, especially Pain Man at that spot. Ooh.
Yeah.
All right. Well, we have Tybalt going and finally cleaning up. Apparently reset a little bit further than he wanted to. So Saradin will let you go. GG's again, and congrats on the third place overall.
Thanks.
GG's again, Saradin.
Thanks for the restream, folks.
So yeah, we saw Tybalt refighting Kanazo. Went back a little too far. But has reobtained the harp and the pan, done the pan bonk, knows that the tower key is not where he's going, so knows the earth crystal is not where to go, so we'll obtain the pass here. Apparently there are more passes. We have Gambit here posting the flag string that we got. And pass was a key item, but it was also in chests, so our runners could have easily found one pretty early on. Because again, there was one in the overworld somewhere. So a surprisingly long character string, and mentioning several that we just didn't see.
Oh no. I'd have to take a look at that a little bit.
Yeah.
I think the only character we don't actually know is whoever's at Baron. That could be an edge, but we're way past wanting an edge.
Yeah, and we haven't seen Edge or Young, I believe. And they're both listed in as the possibilities, so yeah, characters were going to be a pretty interesting juggle.
Yeah.
But these parties have worked out well for everybody, it seems.
It's not too shabby. Who is not in the character list? I just see this thing 10, and we have. I'm trying to remember.
Yeah, we have 11 names in that list. Yeah, who is missing?
Zeno has the answer. No, right? Yeah.
So, yeah. And we finally understand why the treasure was proving pretty rough. It's T Shuffle. So everything that we've been seeing in treasure chests is the stuff that you see in the normal game. Treasure chests in the normal game are not quite the bounty that they are in a randomizer.
There are some good ones, but most are trash.
I mean, they're great to have as you're going along and be like, oh, I actually did need that life potion. You don't need them in this situation.
So things that you would probably want to do would be like Sife's Cave if you know Shuffle was on, because you get an Avenger, or which would have been one of the top tier items that you would have. Was like Tiara in Mist. Although if it's just shuffled within Mist, then it should be easier to find. But if it's like other places, then it's anywhere.
Yeah, it would be shuffled anywhere. And actually, Xenocat pointing out that the shop string is pretty long, and I missed this. Life potions were not available for sale at all. So the ones that you found, that was it. And I guess our runners found enough.
Considering what we went through the seed, I don't think we did the life glitch, and we started with the white mage.
Life glitch wasn't on.
Yeah, so there wasn't much of it. We didn't have to use it. Like Rosa was, you already had Rosa, and so life 1 is a very early spell. It's like just one level, and she learns it. So it's like no, you couldn't miss. Yeah. You always had access to life.
Yeah, but we can finish up our assessment of the flag string after Edward plays us a nice little tune.
There we go.
As Tibble gets to play off the seed to Xenogears Battle 1 music, taking 4th place at the time of 2:40:14. What a mean seed. But it sounds like we do have Tibble in the room with us. Tibble, GG. What a words? Do you have words that we can say on air? But it sounds like we do have Tibble. I don't know if that's a no or if your mic is giving you difficulties.
not hearing anything still.
Okay, it looks like we're on the mic problem side of things. So we'll give Tibble a moment to sort that out.
All right, can you hear me now?
We can.
Hey, yeah, mic issues with Discord and Logitech. Yeah,
as you do. But yeah, heavy sigh, heavy exhale.
Yeah, extremely flustered. Let's put it that way. If I stay on the moon when I'm originally up there, when I cleared it out, I get through this so much faster. Just clearing out half of the moon spots and not finding a single key item. And there's so many out there. I'm like, is K trapped on?
Yeah, I mean it's a perfectly reasonable approach when you have a mystery scene. You don't know which side you should be leaning towards. You just chose the wrong side in that case, but it ended up being pretty costly time-wise.
Yeah, and then a reset out of Luge losing the twin harp and Pan. That was fun.
Yeah, that's just straight unfortunate.
But that giant.
Oh yeah. Wait, Pain Man. Pain Man is a term that the community has coined, and there's a reason.
Yeah, that was very, very painful. Luckily, I had just enough HP to survive the dark waves. If I positioned party members correctly.
Yeah, and I think it took you like 2 or 3 goes of it to get that positioning down pat. But you got there, which is important.
I knew I needed to get a Cure 4 off. It was pretty much, it's Chemist Cecil, Chemist Sid, Rose is on straight heal duty, and Foo's going to be doing all the damage.
Yeah, I thought it did look like a struggle. It wasn't, and you still took it on pretty well, even with the circumstances.
Yeah, with how fast those waves are coming out, even at BS6, one miss menu, and it's a wipe.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we're saying we're almost glad that we didn't have a Zeromus fight, because we had plenty of final bosses as it was. We didn't need another.
Oh yeah. I mean, with the party we had, like, Zeromus would have been a cakewalk.
Mm-hmm.
Well, it's a Sunday Slapdash. We can't give you cake, have cake and eat it too.
This is true.
So I think earlier there was also some difficulty. I think you were trying to figure out some of the flags when you were fighting dark imps.
Yeah, to see if no free bosses were on. I'm like, I'll try stone. Okay, stone didn't work. Let's try something that has a higher chance of actually hitting, like charm or weak. Mm-hmm. And when one of those didn't land, well, okay, no free bosses is on. I'm not getting through this fight right now.
Yeah, I mean the science of it all was very well put together, and that's a very reasonable thing to dig for. Just, unfortunately, the seed was not going to be that nice, and decided to really reinforce that idea.
Yeah, they're giving you nukes so late in Foo's spell list.
Yeah, that was just rude.
I think I learned nuke after the Magus Sisters, like 1800 health. I want to say.
Yeah, it was like last or second to last. I think we saw. But I mean, you also saw that like it was rude for everybody. Nobody had an easy time.
Oh yeah, that's the thing is I'm thinking. I was like, it's going 2 hours. It's like, is it trap chest? And it's just taking a while to like trap chest, or is it key items in a chest or something like that? Or the pass is in a chest?
Well, yeah. Well, the pass was in a chest, but it was also in the key item spots.
Oh.
So, yeah, we had one runner who actually forfeited early on, realizing just how gnarly this was going to be, but had found a pass in Damsian like very early. Neither you nor Sarah didn't really like did enough treasure diving, which makes total sense for what there was.
Yeah, because when you start seeing nothing but Ether 1s, Life, Cure 2s, like it's S Shuffle or T Shuffle.
Mhm.
That's all vanilla stuff. It's like, oh, great.
That's pretty quickly not worth the effort.
No. But I mean, you take some heavy loot locations to maybe spike a pass in the trap chest, or a pass in the regular chest. So it's one of those things that you gotta balance.
Right.
Yeah, I think we had to go through like all the possible iterations of pass. Like, wait, so can you buy in the shop? Can you buy in the shop? You didn't have access early on you didn't have hook. You had late hook access when you after and I think you didn't. I don't think you immediately checked the moon shop when you had access to the whale. So that.
No, I didn't check the moon shop. The last shop I had access to and still don't have access to is Gakol.
Yeah, that's the only one left. And with that legend sword at Golbez and Odin, nobody was forging.
Yeah, new.
I think you could argue the pass, at least if it was a flag, is very. You gotta be digging a lot of things. Like, could be.
Yeah, because there's one on the overworld, and then there's 2 scattered without the underground.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, if it's in chests, that's your hope. And there's enough chests in the overworld that I do not blame anyone for being like, the treasure is garbage. I'm going for a one-off. Let's wait till later. You know?
Right, especially when you've got the Duke glitch on and you've got infinite money to buy Ether 2s, Cure 3s. Like, I'm like, okay. There's my healing. There's my MP. Just need life potions, but I never found any.
There probably was some, but you couldn't have bought it.
They were not for sale at all. So
no,
that's fun.
That's the S no safe or S unsafe.
Yeah, and specifically removed even. So just to make it worse, Gambit did a heck of a job tonight.
Oh yeah, we've trained him well at the campfire.
But any last thoughts before we let you go? And we've been at this for a while, and you've been doing the difficult work of actually running the seed.
Oh yeah, just one heck of a seed, and cheers to anybody who actually finished this, because it was a rough one, to say the least. But thanks for the commentary. It's always good to watch these back. I do enjoy it. Yeah, that's all I got.
Yeah, well, thank you again for being willing to be restreamed. I know Slapdash, it's such a wild card, so this could have been very rapid, or it could have been reality, and we could only apologize, but Gambit won't. Yes, thank you, and GG's again on the 4th place finish overall.
Thank you, GG's, and have a good one.
GG's again to both.
And with that, we have our 2 restream runners finishing. So that will do it. We're going to send you all over to Gale Swift, member of the community and the creator of the Free Enterprise Draft. As if people didn't have enough mystery going on, doing a little like community kind of flag drafting thing. It'll make plenty of sense when we get there. But it is a race, so as always, no spoilers on the outcome and the nature of this one, and no backseating, no spoilers on that one as well. But yeah, that will be it from us for our Restreamer Gambit and our tracker Xenocat. I'm Huffin. Deathleg, any last word before we roll on out?
I love the chaos. This is a lot. That was a lot of fun. Just trying to figure out whatever possible worst case scenario with each possible flag. It's a lot. That was a lot of fun.
Let chaos reign, I suppose. And have a good night, everybody.
And see you next seed.